Going into this, I thought this show was gonna be terrible, but it was actually okay. But it seems like Netflix didn't really know what they wanted to do with this, which is annoying. I'm probably about to piss a lot of anime fanboys off. We're talking spoilers, by the way. I'm not the biggest anime fan in the world, but when I heard that Netflix was doing the live action Yu Hakusho, I immediately got nervous. I'm a believer that not every cartoon or anime needs to be live action. I mean, we saw that with Dragon Ball Z years ago. I hope you're too young to even know what I'm talking about. But when it comes to anime, I like Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, of course, who doesn't? Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! If that counts, One Punch Man. That's really it. Yu Hakusho is one of my favorite shows from my childhood. It has such great characters, stories, moments, and the first thing that came to my mind when I heard live action, how? But what's crazy is they actually almost pulled it off. So I log into Netflix and the first thing that I see is 5 episodes. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, we get 5 episodes this week, next week we might get 2 or 3.
Me, right?
So I'm watching episode 1 and just take note that I only watch animes in English, so sorry. So episode 1 starts and I was born in the 90s, so I watched the original anime like 50 years ago. So right off bat, I noticed a change. Those bugs being mentioned super early and being the reason for the car accident and the major fire. In the anime, the car accident happened because a guy just wasn't paying attention, and I believe a random person was the reason that the fire started. It's not a big deal, I'm not complaining. I expected them to change some story details. I actually liked the addition of the bugs and turning people into these zombie-like creatures. It reminded me of Kingdom on Netflix. If you haven't watched that show, definitely check that out. But Yusuke ends up getting hit by the truck and that looks real. I had to rewind it a few times because I was trying to see where the CGI kicked in, but that part looked amazing, and that's what's frustrating about this show. Some of the CGI looks amazing and some looks terrible. Episode 1, in my opinion, was really good. The actors were fine to me, but just remember, I watched this show in English. Sorry. The costumes look great for the most part, but trust me, we'll talk about that later. And the fighting scenes were so good. Yusuke and his classmate that was basically possessed, they were throwing hands. They were fighting for like 10 minutes. That whole fight choreography was so good. I'm not surprised that they decided to make Koenma an adult, even though him having a pacifier doesn't make any sense for people who are watching this for the first time. So episode 1, I'm rocking with it, I'm having fun, and then we get to the end, Hiei and Kurama look fucking terrible. Hiei was my favorite character in the anime and I hated him in this. Kurama's wig is terrible, and this is where I started to realize this isn't going to end well. I 100% understand them having to condense this. I'm sure this show cost a ton of money to make. They had a lot of material to pick from. But as a person who watched in the 90s, when you start to realize all the things that they did cut, it just doesn't feel the same. The bond that this group had in the anime is what makes this friendship work. Episode 2, we knocked out Kurama's story. Episode 3, we knocked out Hiei. And then we get to Genkai, who was such a cool and important character. And then we get a Spark Note version of her story. In the live action, we don't really get to see Yusuke and Genkai build that relationship. In the anime, they had such an emotional and deep bond as student and master. And here, it's just kind of like, whatever. The live action doesn't give viewers any time to see the growth in their relationship. We skip over the tournament and Randa, which fine, I get it, but we barely get any screen time to care about their relationship. And then we get no backstory from Sakio, who is such a cool villain. And then what really pissed me off is when Toguro got introduced and Toguro introduced his team, I was like, wait a minute. In the anime, they don't meet here. They don't meet until later. So I know good and damn well you are not skipping this Dark Tournament. The Dark Tournament is probably the best arc in this entire series, and they skip it. And that's the problem. It seems like they did this show with one foot in, one foot out. Like Netflix was like, we'll give you some money, but not too much money. What is supposed to be the point of this show? Because sometimes it just felt like a fan project. I thought they were gonna go to the mansion, fight and lose against Toguro. That's the end of part 1. This show was so frustrating to watch. The production on this was good enough that if they did the story correctly, I would have watched over the next few years. I don't know if this was meant to be just a standalone project, but it seems like they made this with no plans to do anything else. Outside of Hiei and Kurama looking weird, the cast actually looked really good to me. The fighting was amazing. Kurama fighting Karasu looked really good until they brought out Yoko Kurama, which just looked stupid to me. The Toguro brothers, I'm gonna give them a pass because how are you supposed to do that in real life? This show had so much potential to be something special, but who is this made for? It's a slap in the face to older fans like me because you're trying to condense 60 plus episodes down to 4 hours, and the new fans, they might enjoy this if they don't know anything about the anime, but I feel bad because they don't know how many great moments they're missing out on. The tournament with Genkai and Rando, the Dark Tournament, Sensui, Kuwabara's sword cutting dimensions, S-Class demons, new fans got robbed of so much. I really want to hear the opinion from people who only watched this and never saw the original anime. I feel like that's the only way this TV show can properly be judged. I feel like if you watch the original anime, it's hard to watch this and not feel cheated. And I get it because I know a budget for a show like this would be hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, how would they even do the Dark Tournament in real life? It just sucks because at least now we know that it is possible to do a good live action in this universe. We'll just never get it. But thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new here. We talk about a bunch of different things on this channel. What are your thoughts on this show? If you're an older fan like me, did you feel cheated? And if you're a newer fan, did you enjoy this? Let me know in the comment section below. Love you guys. Tell us when you love them. Until next time, see you in the next life.